So I get asked a lot about market trends and what I think are good projects for the future. So in this video, I am going to give you my personal top 5 projects that I think have very good potential in this rapidly changing reptile market. So before I get started, let me share with you guys my criteria, my personal criteria. So number 1, the most important thing, are these species legal where I'm running my program? And am I able to ship those animals in and out of the country legally? That is step number 1. Number 2 is, do I have a personal interest in the species? Because I found that getting into something just for money, I quickly lose interest. I will typically sell off a project way before it comes to fruition, and I will lose money, and that's just a waste. So I need to have passion for the species that I'm choosing to work with. So the next thing that I look at is availability and quota. I need to make sure that this is a species that I will be able to access. And also, is it something that I may be able to access that other people won't? This is important for cornering a market. So I always take that into consideration as well. Now, as you guys know, the animal business is very different and unique from other businesses. The people that are your customers one day are likely to become your competitors another day. And so the things that we sell, they breed, they reproduce. And so you may be selling something to somebody one day and the next day they're right alongside of you selling the same exact thing. Are these things that have a very high reproductive rate? Do they produce massive amounts of eggs or babies? And are they easy to breed? Because market saturation is a huge problem, and that's one of the things that we're experiencing right now. Things that in a saturated market are very difficult to sell. So another thing that's kind of interesting is that I found that some species just come naturally to me and others don't. There may be a commonly bred species that other people are cranking out in really good numbers, and I can't make those happen for some reason. So I kind of know where my limits are and what I excel at, and I try to probably make those something that I'm going to focus on because it's just going to have a better outcome. So obviously, you guys, this isn't the full list of criteria. There's so many things to take into consideration, but I also need to pay attention to, am I capable of housing the animal? Is it a big species, or is it something that needs a cold environment? Obviously, our facility is in the tropics, it's hot, and so I have to avoid certain things. Do I have enough staff to manage a large amount of animals? Is it a project that's going to require many animals for breeding? Just so many different things. So anyway, without further ado, you guys, let's get into it. The top 5 projects for DMExotics for 2024. This beautiful mangrove snake with blue highlights is from the Philippines, a country that is closed to exportation, so imports are almost non-existent. It is limited to captive bred, and Boyega happened to be something I'm pretty good at breeding. The market price is high, and demand is also high. Most of the breeders are in Europe, and I could do an entire video on what kind of experiences I've had with them, so I'll just leave it at that. A non-CITES species that can be shipped without much trouble. This one ticks all my boxes. Boyega synodon. Now this species suits me because of the group that we have put together. We have Philippine locality as well, and also a couple of different flavors. We have melanistic adults, and we actually just hatched some babies. We have patternless, and now we're adding leucistics to the group, so this puts us in a very unique situation. Again, I'm pretty good with breeding Boyega. These are also non-CITES. We have a lot of morph and color phase animals, so we are in a really good position with this one. Somalia clastolepis, the Moluccan scrub python. This is probably the most sought after of the scrub pythons, and it commands a very high price. The wild catch quota is only 30 per year, and the export quota also is 30 per year. This one is in very high demand, and we have put ourselves in a really good position to source them. International shipping is okay with proper paperwork, which falls in line with being able to legally source them in their native province and country. We are in another really good position for this one. In positioning ourselves for Moluccan scrubs, tannin bar scrubs also occur in the same regulatory province. So everything mentioned for the previous one as far as sourcing and documentation applies to this one. The price is not at the very top, but the demand is there, and their small size presents an opportunity similar to super dwarf reticulated pythons. So we're going to explore this one and see how we end up. Pataeus carinata, the king rat snake. These only have an annual export quota of 95 from Indonesia. Now the prettier locality from Malaysia also have a small quota, but they are much harder to come by, and we tend to keep most of them, so the biggest exporter isn't sending them out. These are not new to the hobby, but they are new to hobbyists, and of the lucky few that get the opportunity to keep them, they seem to really enjoy these giant colubrid snakes. Breeding is a challenge, so captive production is lacking. Market demand is always high, market value is also very high, and the hobby pretty much has not even gotten a taste of Malaysia locality, so there's lots of potential with this one as well. They are also non-CITES, so shipping is not complicated, and they're very fun to work with. So there it is, you guys. That's my top 5. My list is actually a lot longer than that, but those 5 species are pretty much at the forefront, the things that are on my mind the most at this point in time. I realize that you guys all have totally different lists. Crested geckos, ball pythons, reticulated pythons. There's nothing wrong with that stuff. It just doesn't meet my criteria. So again, jump in the comments, let me know what you guys think, but that's my list. And also remember this, I am not just a guy on YouTube. I run an actual legitimate reptile business. I pay sales tax, I pay income tax, all that stuff. I interact with many customers on a daily basis. So I'm basing a lot of the market demand on what you guys message me and are asking me for. So I feel like I have a pretty good feel for where the interest is at this point. So another thing that I'm seeing, you guys, is that breeders are trying to convince customers that right now is the best time to get in on morph whatevers at historic low prices, and that they're super affordable right now, and when the market does a full cycle and a turnaround, that you guys will be well set. I'll have to see it to believe it, you guys. I'm not really sure about all that. And another thing, at reptile expos, why are plants the only thing that's really moving strongly at reptile shows? It's just a sign of the times. The economy is doing weird things, the market is adjusting, and I've always been a student of the market. So whenever there's a change, whenever there's a shakeup, I always pay attention. I love to see how people change and adapt to things. And I also like to watch people that don't and what happens to them. It's a very interesting time. We're in it right now. Somehow we will all come out the other side, you guys, in one form or another. And that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you in the next one. Take care.